Hi there, Jonathan, back once again, and yeah, we're now on Sunday. We're at day 7, so yep, there we go. Sunday, 7th of September. It's 9:30 in the morning, and so what we're going to do today is, as usual, have a quick snapshot look at what happened yesterday in terms of sales. But today, really wanted to chat a little bit about the Facebook ads side of things. Obviously, that's the very starting point of this whole funnel. And really, the two metrics that I use all the time to really try and guide my decisions in terms of what to do next and when I need to change things up. So yes, where are we from yesterday? So yesterday, obviously, seen a bit of a decline down to $644 in sales yesterday, and we had an ad spend of 308, which we put that into our little calculator there. So we've had basically spent $416 and got, what was it, 644 back. 416. Crikey, I should be better at mental maths. So about $220, something like that, sort of profit. So yeah, we have seen a bit of a drop, but thankfully it is still in profit. I had my sort of concerns and doubts yesterday whether we would make it, but we have, so we've made a bit of profit, and we're at 9:30 in the morning, and so far today we're at 124. So okay, fingers crossed, as long as we hold on to that sort of level at this time of the day, we should be all good. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. Firstly, just to say, obviously yesterday I set off that split test, and so unfortunately it's too early right now because it's probably only been running for about 12 hours, but what I'll do over the coming days, we'll have a quick sort of check-in with that split test and how it's doing, but you know, generally we'll probably need to leave it a couple of weeks before we can really sort of draw any conclusions from that. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Facebook ads. Now, I mean, there are a gazillion different metrics. Well, there's probably, I think, actually over 100 different metrics you can look at in terms of Facebook ads. Whether that's anything to do with all the sort of the clicks, the engagements, the video views, the any of the custom events, that type of thing. But really, when it all comes down to it, for me, there are only really two metrics that you should be looking at all the time. And they are these two, this CTR All, which is a click-through rate all, and CTR Unique. So let's talk about those two things. So CTR All is really basically your measure of engagement. So basically, is anybody interacting with your ads? Now that might be as simple as just basically stopping the scrolling, or it might be actually clicking a read more on the copy. It might be a like, a comment, a share, any sort of really indication of an engagement that comes under that metric of CTR All. And obviously the reason why that's important is because basically that's your first indication that your ads are actually connecting with an audience. And so basically that, because at the end of the day, unless you've got people to stop scrolling and at least have some level of sort of engagement, you can't really go any further. So that CTR All is a really important one. But obviously probably what's even more important then is the unique CTR. So this is really people who've gone beyond engaging with your ad. They've decided to obviously read some of the copy or just taken on board the headline, and they've actually clicked on the learn more, which for most people is basically driving traffic to a website, in my case to the offer. So those two things are really is firstly, can I attract and engage my audience, and then really can I build that sort of intrigue, desire, motivation to want to learn more, to basically go onto the website. So that's why really, and that's that's that goal of the ad, is you want to be able to obviously make sure you're attracting the right sort of people, but also using your ad to make sure, to a certain extent, you try and do a little bit of pre-sales on it. So it means that actually when your audience actually arrive on your landing page, they're more in tune with what it is you offer. They're more in tune and sort of motivated to actually take action, because obviously there's no point driving traffic who are not interested, not engaged. It'll make life really difficult for you. And obviously, Facebook now, with it's basically their entire platform is really driven by a combination of AI and machine learning. So the better that you create your ads, the more engaging they are, the more they drive the audience, the more Facebook really and its algorithm understands actually what it is you're looking to achieve from your ads. So basically you're always motivated and rewarded for producing good ads. And these days it's not really about the targeting, it's all about the ads and the creative, which is good fun, because initially Facebook years back was very complicated, and it was really all about how to build these audiences using interests and demographics, and everything was really about targeting. That's pretty much out the window, because actually what happens now is that your ads, your headlines, your copy, as soon as they start to engage with an audience and people see that the algorithm sees that actually people are engaging with the ad and they're following through and taking some sort of action, they get an understanding of the sort of the profile of that person, and then helps you get more of them. And in terms of those particular numbers, CTR and CTR All Unique, they will vary, because some people say, okay, well, what's a good number? What's a good CTR All or CTR Unique? But actually, there are many factors that change those metrics. Everything from the size of your audience you're targeting, the sort of campaign objective, the competitiveness. There's a lot of different things that can alter those numbers, which actually why it's really important more to look at actually the ratio between those two numbers, because obviously if you've got a good CTR All and still a relatively good Unique, it means that obviously you've gone from not just attracting their attention, but actually attracting their attention, engaging them, and getting them to take action. So it's that ratio between those two. So if we just have a look at my ads manager, so these are the two campaigns that I'm running right now. And things that I'll be looking to update, and I'm going to go more into detail of actually the campaigns and the ads and the creatives as we move forward. But we're starting with the top level side of things. So let's start with this bottom one first. So this is my main sales campaign, and obviously you can see here we've got a unique CTR All. So this is like our first engagement metric, and at 1.46%. Now you might look at that and go, oh, that seems pretty small, but it's understanding the reason why that number is pretty low in my case is that I'm targeting a worldwide audience. Basically my audience targeting is, I think it's over 1 billion people. So it's, as I say, I'm using the creatives and the messaging to actually attract that audience. So inevitably the CTR All, unless I was spending probably £10,000 a day or something like that, that might drive that up, but I need a huge amount of creative to do that. But really where I'm at now, and that remains fairly steady. So that's based on the last 14 days. If I look at it over the last 30 days, it's a little bit higher, 2%, or even the last 7 days is a bit lower, or 1.4. So let's just go back to that. So, but as I say, what's important about this is the ratio between these two numbers. So this is the engagement level, this is the people taking action. So really what we've got is about 2/3 of the people who actually initially engage in the ad are then following through, clicking on to go to the website. So that's what I'm sort of looking for, is that ratio. If you've got a big disconnect and you've only got say 2% on your CTR All and only 0.5% or less were actually taking action, then it may be that yes, you might have a strong image or a headline, but obviously it's not really engaging that audience and getting them to take action. So that's why it's important. But obviously if you look at this, the second campaign here, this is a higher numbers. 2 reasons. One, it's a far smaller audience. So what I'm doing here, this is retargeting people who went via this first campaign, my main shopping one, but didn't actually buy the offer. So this is a smaller audience, but it's more targeted, and obviously they're more familiar with the offer. And also the other thing is this is targeting purely sort of leads as well, so it's a slightly lower value audience than the direct to sale objective. But obviously here you can see a very close relationship between them. So it's obviously a far more highly motivated audience. They've seen the offer before, but now they've got the free tab book. So there's a high level of engagement and a high level of click-through rate on it. And because it's a retargeting ad, the ad's really super simple. So let me just show you that ad. It's literally just a static image that says, here's what it is, you can go and get it. Let's go into the creative side of it. Oh, there we go. And that's, it's really sort of simple. And as you see, it gets a lot of engagement from it as well. So, you will have different click-through rates depending on your audience and the objective. Okay, so that's a bit about the Facebook ad side of things. As I say, there are so many metrics that you can look at, but that's the ones that I really sort of focus on and the reasons why. So I'm going to be next over the next couple of days start working on some new ads. I need to split test because it's one of those things with Facebook ads. The ads I've got have been working well for quite some time, and you do get a bit lazy, and you get to think, well, it's working, I'll just keep it running. But yeah, I do need to see if I can drive more results. So it's time to start moving some split testing back to the Facebook ads side of things, and it's all part of that, reducing that cost of customer acquisition, same as the split test I'm doing right now. Okay, so that's all for today, and tomorrow what I'll probably do is basically a roundup on the week, because I'll have 7 days of data. We'll have a look at that, how that first week has gone, really what I've learned from it, and really what my focus and drive is going to be in the week ahead. So enjoy your Sunday. Thanks very much for watching, and look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Bye for now.